Most out of your classic can mean many things. That's why Heacock Classic Insurance is excited to sponsor the Trans Am Race Series. In addition to events, we have proudly provided insurance for race cars, classic cars, and exotic cars since 1989. Heacock Classic is known for its famous agreed-upon value, where brokers and clients find common ground on coverage. So make sure to get your quote today. Follow us at #HeacockDriven.
They dropped the two vintage races and went straight for it.
All the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results, and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Android, the only place. Your muscle car media.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do drive it. But all of us in the pits want to know who's the ultimate grand champions.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race
Manxie
team is
Ben's
really
here as well now.
prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We
Okay,
carry all
no,
the
not
top
at the moment.
brands.
Or, well, I
Baldwin,
didn't.
John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman Brand, and on down
Like
the
right
list.
now, I can hear
So come
program,
see
but
us.
it's staccato.
Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. Unless I return the talk back up on
When
my
the automotive
program.
industry needs new ideas, concept vehicles, and prototype designs, they rely on Michigan-based Prefix Corporation. The Prefix Performance Division
That's good.
provides experienced engine development and testing for professional race teams and special car
And by the way, if
enthusiast
somebody
projects.
comes up and you know them,
This
you just
important
talk to them.
team at Prefix is recognized as a skilled resource
Yeah,
for ground-up
Boris,
restorations,
but I'm saying, you know, if you
high-performance
know somebody.
upgrades, and luxury vehicle enhancements. Get your vehicle project started today, or simply check out some of the wild automotive work created at Prefix by visiting.
Well, I was about to say, in SVRA, for sure. I mean, it's
www.prefix.com.
pointless me talking rubbish when you kind of, A, know them, B, you know SVRA
Getting the
better.
most out of your
I mean,
classic
you know,
can
I'm
mean
here to
many
pump
things.
up SVRA
That's
and
why
make it more
Heacock Classic
exciting, that's
Insurance
all.
is excited
But
to
if you've got
sponsor
some
the
knowledge,
Trans Am
then,
Race Series.
you know, let's,
In
because
addition
it's such
to
a
events,
different thing
we have
anyway.
proudly provided
I'd much
insurance for
prefer,
race cars,
you know, you had a
classic
good chat
cars,
with somebody.
and exotic cars since 1989.
Trans Am, sure.
Heacock Classic
I'll
is
stay
known
lean.
for its famous agreed-upon value, where brokers and clients find common ground on coverage. So make sure to get your quote today. Follow us at #HeacockDriven.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results, and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
But all of us in the pits want to know who's the ultimate.
So, here we go. TA2 underway here at VIR, and it is the silver hair of Rafa Matos who leads the way. He got a great start from the get-go, a rolling start, and behind him is our championship leader, Mike Skeen.
But Tyler Cassara, somewhat new to the series, has great showings here at VIR in third place.
Yeah, great start from Tyler Cassara. Of course, Tyler involved in that incident at Road America a few weeks ago. As it feels like 3 months ago now, but anyway, He was involved in that incident, but he is absolutely cock-a-hoop to be here in the real thing. Those of you who watch the E Championship will know Tyler Cassara's name because he was runner-up in that championship, almost won it, but now he's in the real deal, and he's loving every minute of it. Rafa Matos, though, slip-sliding away ahead of Mike Skeen. Cassara in third place. Cameron Lawrence in fourth at the moment.
What a great battle up front. Mike Skeen currently in first in points, but Rafa Matos third in points, and then Cameron Lawrence, who's currently in fourth place, is actually fifth place in points.
You know what surprised me is that Rafa Matos, since he joined the Silver Hair team, has yet to win this season, and that's a real surprise. You're expecting Rafa to win almost every other race, but this time, not the case.
Yeah, but I think it's going to come. I think it's going to come this weekend, honestly.
All right, well, we'll soon find out. Down the strip they come again. An overtake on the hares as Cassara goes for it. Great move by Tyler Cassara. And Cassara's up to second place and going in pursuit now of Rafa Matos. Back comes Skeen.
Cassara on the outside.
This is a fantastic race already as we go on board with Cameron Lawrence. He's chasing down in fourth position as they head to NASCAR for the second time. And the 77 of Mike Skeen, our championship leader, in trouble at the moment in third place. Flames flying out through left hook.
What a great move by Tyler Cassara, but this is kind of, Tyler Cassara is just picking and choosing events that he wants to do in Trans Am. He's hoping to do a full season next year because obviously he is super fast, but Mike Skeen has the championship on the line, so he doesn't want to take any big risks or moves.
Well, Cassara is driving out of his skin at the moment because I know his background is Miatas, and I said to him yesterday, what's it like wasting the rain in these TA2 cars? He said, it's just like a giant Miata. He said, we're sideways all the way. He said, so I'm getting used to it more and more, and he really is showing some of these more experienced drivers what he's got, and he has come as a big surprise package, both in E-Championship, in our E-Sports Championship at the beginning of the season, and now look at him, vying for the lead now as we go on board with Cameron Lawrence in fourth position, chasing down number 77, Mike with Skeen, and he's got past him at over 160 miles an hour. Great stuff, but back comes Skeen. They're side by side as they go into the right hander. Something's got to give, and it's going to be Lawrence who takes the place. Great stuff from Cameron Lawrence, kept his foot in, and that was superb racing. And you were right on board with him.
That was so good. And the side by side going into that unbalanced turn like that. And I want to point out that the top six.
Here comes Cassara. Don't want to interrupt him, but Cassara. Here we go, Cassara. He goes every which way. Goes to the inside, goes to the outside. Matos has to defend. And Cassara has got the bit between his teeth.
Nice. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering who Tyler Cassara is, he's showing you. And we knew that he had it. But also, I just want to tell you, we were talking to him on the phone, and he wants to do a full season next year. So if you're looking to get behind a racer and sponsor a car, look to that number 4 Mustang right there of Tyler Cassara.
He works for Tate Industries. He's a very creative guy, and he's really worked hard at getting himself in this position to go racing. It's a family-turned-out team. His dad helps him, and it really is a small package in terms of their racing team, but he is showing well, and in second place as we go on board again with Cameron Lawrence in third at the moment. Skeen all the way down to fourth place, and after that miraculous pole position by Skeen at the start of the weekend, I'm surprised to see him as far down as that early on, but there's a long way to go in this race, and we've already seen from the TA race that there is lots of drama to come out of this VIR circuit.
Yeah, and I misspoke earlier. It's actually Connor Mosack, new to the series. He's with Scott Lagacy in the number 96 white Camaro. He is in 6th place, and this is his first TA2 race ever.
Yeah, Connor Mosack, I was looking him up last night because he really hasn't done too much. I mean, he's done a lot of things at the very, very junior level at Daytona and some of the lower ranks, but he's never done Trans Am, and to see him up there in 6th place, really good, and ahead of one of our regulars, John Paul Southern Jr.
Is Tyler going to make a move here at this straightaway?
Well, he almost did it last time, and he's looking for a way past. Last time he went to the outside, Lawrence has got the best seat, the box seat for this battle. And again, he looks to the outside at Horseshoe. Now he turns to, well, he stays on the outside. In fact, he's going to try to go the long way round, and he's going for it. The left-hander is next, and Tyler Cassara's done it. Oh, superb racing. Through into the lead goes the number 4, and Tyler Cassara leads his first Trans Am race for real.
Wow, has he been fun to watch for us in the last 6 months? In video games and Sims and now in this, it's unbelievable.
Who says you can't become a real racing driver from e-racing? Look at him go. Wow, fantastic to see. And Cameron Lawrence, the youngster, has got the bit between his teeth now because he's got Rafa Matos, the three-dimensional services group, as we're on board with him, going back up the hill at VIR. Perfect conditions. It dried out from yesterday, and as you can see, it's a little bit cloudy overhead, but nice and cool, more importantly. Thomas Merrill still in 4th position. There he is in the number 81.
And he's
Thomas
second
Merrill,
in points.
Second in points, of course. So all these points are very important indeed. Cassara really not a factor in the points chase. Rafa Matos yet to win this season, but still in the hunt for sure.
So Scott Lagasse Jr., who is 4th in points right now, is in 15th place. He's in a brand new car. Connor Mosack is in the car that Scott is usually in, and that's how Scott operates his team. He always gives his teammate the better car.
What about your buddy, Edward Savagian? He's down in 11th position. Have you spoken to him this weekend?
Yeah, and Edward, I know him to be really good at Virginia International Raceway. It's somewhat of a new car to him. It's the same car that he got 3rd place at COTA, but this is the 2nd race he's ever had in the car. But I expect him to be in the top 10.
Back on board with 3rd place Lawrence. Now Lawrence having a go, if he can, at Rafa Matos. And as these three battle, look who's coming. Thomas Merrill, very close, the top 4. Absolutely glued together as they go through Horseshoe.
Mike Skeen must be having some problems because it's really rare to see him drop back like this. So yeah. I'd like to know what his problems are.
Yeah, I agree. He's usually, and especially after qualifying, you'd expect him to be on this pace. Now Lawrence in 3rd position, through the snake, over the bumps, and starting to build up the hill and under the bridge now. No real room to overtake here. Turn 10 is what you were saying last time out. Best first opportunity to overtake.
Well, it's turn 11. Turn 10 is really treacherous. Turn 11 going into Oak Tree. But I want to point out Mike Skeen is in a new car. He's in a Mustang. He's been in a Camaro all year, and they haven't had time to really set up a car because it's been it's been torrential downpours the whole time for testing and qualifying. So maybe they just got their setup wrong a little bit.
Maybe, yeah, could be a good point. So through Oak Tree they come and down the back straight. This is where the power and the horsepower gets unleashed here.
So that's Connor Mosack.
So it's under safety again.
Yep, I saw the lights come on. Connor Mosack, 21 years old, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, in 5th place in his first Trans Am race.
Well, let's just catch up. While we're under safety, Tyler Cassara leads this race from Rafa Matos. Cameron Lawrence is 3rd, Thomas Merrill 4th, Connor Mosack up to 5th now. Mike Skeen has dropped all the way down from pole position down to 6th place. There's something wrong with him. Tommy Sheehan's celebrating his 100th Trans Am TA2 race, and that's a first for TA2. So good luck to Tommy. Really wanted to race at Watkins Glen, but he doesn't mind where he races as long as he's racing. But this is his 100th race, and he's ahead of Doug Peterson. Jet Nolan, another of the youngsters, is down in 9th position, and Edward Savagian's moved from 11th up to 10th place. But it is Tyler Cassara from Pennsylvania who leads the way.
I haven't heard yet what the cause of the double yellow is, but with the grass being so wet like it is here because it's been raining, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, that's the problem. Going off here means almost an immediate, yeah, you can see the Maserati safety car is out. It's a good-looking car, that. It's red on one side, blue on the other. You'll never miss it. It's Maserati's SUV, so you know it's fast.
So it's John Paul Southern.
Ah, well, he was running in the top 6.
He's got an impact at turn 14. That's not good. That's a high-speed area. I hope he's okay.
Well, that's a surprise because JP was running in the top 6 at one point.
trying to get word right now from the officials. But Jet Noland in 9th place, Edward Savajian in 10th, Keith Prochek in 11th, Scott Lagasse in 12th, Scott Borchetta in 13th, Barry Bowes 14th, Kurt Vogt 15th, Maurice Hall in 16th.
Now this restart is really going to test Tyler Cassara's experience in Trans Am that Rafa Matos and Cameron Lawrence have at restarts, and he's really going to be pushed to the very limit here. But given the way he's driving, I wouldn't count him out for sure.
No, he, like you said, he's a really experienced spec Miata racer, so he's done a lot of restarts and starts, and he's been up front with those a lot. And, you know, to me, there's nothing like a really good momentum driver in these high horsepower cars. If you want to get fast in a high horsepower car, spend a couple years in Miata, and you will be fast.
It's interesting. Tyler did a couple of races last year, got one top 10. He's never won a Trans Am race. This would be a real turn-up for the books. He got a 4th place at Watkins Glen last year. But this is the highest he's been, and hats off to him. And like I said, 2nd in the Trans Am by Pirelli Esports Championship. So Tyler Cassara, a man on the move at the moment.
We started with 22 cars in this field, and with John Paul Southern Jr. out and Doug Winston, he never clocked a lap. He's teammates with Adrian Lostowski with Fast Auto, but unfortunately, Doug Winston, who also joined us in our E-Racing Championship, did not start the race.
Almost perfect conditions here. The rain has gone. It's slightly overcast, which keeps things nice and cool. Obviously, it's not great in this situation for the drivers because they want to keep heat in the temperature in the tires, and though the engines will stay at least a little bit cooler here in these temperatures. But it's JP Sutton that's caused the double yellow, and the pace car coming out. Lights still on there as Tyler Cassara leads this field.
You can see those spectators up there who are crew, because we are not allowing spectators this weekend, but they must be crew or spotters looking over at the turn. So we hope that John Paul Southern is okay.
Yeah, they're probably staff from VIR just watching on. They know where to perch themselves. So onto the main straight again, and safety car continues to circulate ahead of this field. Huge field of TA2 cars, 23 in all. And just to catch our breath one more time, Tyler Cassara leads this race from Rafa Matos. Cameron Lawrence is 3rd. In terms of the championship, Mike Skeen leads from Thomas Merrill. Rafa Matos still 3rd. Scott Lagasse Jr., who hasn't really come into proceedings yet. I'm not sure what's happened with Scott this weekend, but he's down in 12th at the moment.
Well, actually, they've worked so long. If you were paying attention to the Road America, you were at Road America. Sam Mayer's car that was on fire is the car that Scott Lagasse is in. So they've had to spend the last couple of weeks basically just redoing the whole car.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if you didn't see Road America, go and look it up on YouTube because there's some pretty interesting stuff from action from there.
Do you think that Maserati pace car does 185 like Joe Walsh's Maserati? Remember that song?
My Maserati. Does 185?
Yeah.
I bet it does.
I think so. It could. Look at these great in cars. Cameron Lawrence right there, three-dimensional services group. Cameron Lawrence is 5th place in the points, but the points are close. He's right behind Scott Lagasse Jr. with 70 points. So he's trying to keep heat in the tires. That's why he's wiggling back and forth. If this is your first time watching Trans Am, welcome to Virginia International Raceway. If you're watching on the Trans Am app, or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any kind of social media, please leave a comment of where you're watching from. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us who you're fans of. And I'll tell you what, last couple of races, some people have called out people that they're fans of, and then those drivers have contacted them through the social media and sent them some T-shirts or hats or anything like that.
Trans Am, the oldest running series in the United States, some 54 years of age, and all started back in '66.
Raced here in '66.
In fact, they raced here at VIR in '66, exactly right. And it's been going constantly ever since, and now growing too to newer markets like Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and we're delighted to see its growth and delighted to welcome fans from all over the world who are tuning in to watch the real deal.
Yeah, it is. I've been really paying attention to the Trans Am Australia, TA2 down there. And let me tell you, Trans Am Australia, TA2 Australia, the TA2 America paddock is paying attention, and we are loving what you guys are doing down there.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in New Zealand, and I've watched the growth there too. It's still early days there yet. They're still getting receipt of the cars and still sorting out the rules and regulations for it. But a lot of interest over there. I mean, they just love muscle cars, full stop. I mean, you know, the V8s has gone from success to success. But the price point and everything else about it is a real appeal to drivers who've got some experience and want to do muscle car racing.
So it looks like I see some trucks coming out with some tire bands and some stacks of tires. So JP Southern probably hit inside of turn 14 there. Actually, Cameron Lawrence had a big off there 2 or 3 years ago, and that's a real high-speed area place to hit. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, we're joined by the Boris Said,
the
Jonathan.
The Said heads. The Said heads. Which one do we get? Do we get the real Boris Said, or do we get the junior one that tends to be faster? Well, he hasn't got his mic on yet, but I'm going to introduce him to the booth. Boris Said, a well-known figure in Trans Am and a very well-known figure worldwide in motor racing. Welcome, Boris.
How are you?
How was your day?
Oh, it was fun. I mean, it was the first time out in the Weaver car. It was really good in the rain, but in the dry, we didn't quite have the right setup on, so we were struggling a little bit. Couldn't keep Ernie behind me.
Well, it's like you and Poncho seem to come together at a racetrack and have no time to get ready.
No time. I mean, that was basically the first dry run the car's had, but it's going to be a really fast car.
What are conditions like out there? We've had a lot of rain over the last 2 days, so that's hampered testing and qualifying. But what are the conditions like? You've raced VIR a bunch of times.
I mean, right now they're really good. I mean, the track's perfect. It's just if you make a mistake and get in the grass, you're going to hit something hard because the grass is just an accelerant right now. You know, if you get in it, you're going to take off and not stop till you hit something hard. But the track is perfect.
Well, as you join us, we've got a cracking race here because we've got Tyler Cassara, who's never led a Trans Am race, leading the way from Rafa Matos, who's a former champion, Cameron Lawrence and Merrill, all there. We've had JP Southern go off track, which is why we're under caution at the moment. Scott Borchetta, who's new to TA2, but of course is a veteran of SVRA, is up there too in the top 10. So we've got a really interesting feel for this one.
Yeah, I mean, these TA2 races are always competitive. And Matos, I mean, he's an animal. I mean, that guy is one guy you don't want to see behind you. So I'm sure first place is probably, he's a little nervous right now.
Yeah, Cameron Lawrence, the youngster that we're on board with now, isn't these onboard shots great? We got some great ones from your race too, because we were on board with Chris Dyson as he tried to chase you down, so we could see how your car moved, especially through the snake there. That you could see the movement of the car, and it's actually only when you're on board like that do you actually see it.
Yeah, I mean, those S's are a ride. I mean, there's not many tracks in the world you can get that feeling like going through the S's at VIR, and it's fantastic. I mean, it makes the hair on your arm stand up every single lap, and you know, you just get braver and braver and braver, and it's just a riot.
While I've got you, I've got to ask, there's no racing going on. This fantastic relationship between you and Poncho, how does it work? So does he call you up and say, hey, you want to go racing at VIR? You go, hey, you're going to build me a car? And then he says, yeah, but I need to make some money. So do you sign the dashboard and then you make some money because you drove it?
No, look, I really retired a couple of years ago from racing. And then, you know, I didn't really like driving these new GT3 cars. They were boring to me. I mean, they're cool looking, but I didn't like them. And Poncho called me up and said, hey, I'm building a new Trans Am car. Do you want to drive it? And I'm like, man, 850 horsepower, no ABS, no traction control. Like, yeah, sign me up. He goes, what do you need? You need to get paid? I go, no, I don't need to get paid. You know, I have a daytime job now selling cars at my car dealership and the go-kart track. So I just do it, you know, pro bono. And I just love it. I mean, I love driving these cars. So, you know, Poncho's not the most structured guy in the world as far as when it comes to, but man,
he's an artist.
He's an artist. I mean, that's one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. And you know, all three cars he's built, we've won in all of them, and they're fantastic.
And I saw one here yesterday, just down here in this pit last year.
Yeah, that was the first car. The monster car was the first car we drove, we had, and then last year after we won the race here, Adam Andretti bought the car we had. So now he built a new one, and actually COVID was a blessing because it gave him a lot of time to finish the car when he was stuck at home.
Lights still on the safety car, so we've got a couple more laps, I think, while they repair the circuit. JP Southern is the cause of the incident, but it's Tyler Cassara who leads this field. Laps dropping down now, but we will have some racing, and this is very similar to the TA race we just witnessed. We're talking to Boris Said, who was second in the race last time out in TA. In the Dodge Challenger, prepared by Poncho Weaver, the man we're talking about right now. And interestingly enough, you mentioned the dealership. I know all about the BMW dealership, but what about the kart circuit? I don't know much about that. What's that all about?
Well, we have K1 Speed. It's an indoor go-kart track circuit. We have 34 tracks in America, all over the place.
Yeah, I've been to K1 in Austin, yeah.
Yep. We have 8 circuits now, franchises around the world, in China, in France, in Italy, Mexico, Canada. So, and we were just about to break ground on a world-class outdoor circuit, our first circuit, outdoor, full FIA-approved circuit. So, it got put on hold a little bit until we recover from the COVID, because a lot of our stores are closed right now. I mean, it's hurt a lot of people in America. Hopefully it'll be done soon. But probably next year that'll open, K1 kart circuit. And I'm really excited about that, because it's about 45 minutes from my house.
As busy as ever, Boris Said. You join us. We're talking live to Boris, who's just been taking part on the podium again with Poncho Weaver in that Dodge Challenger. In fact, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but he's gonna hand the reins over to Paul Menard tomorrow, who unfortunately will have to start at the back because he didn't qualify the car or race to the fastest lap, because that's how the rules go. Basically, the grid is set by the fastest lap for the previous race. So that means that Paul's gonna have to wind his way through, but I'm sure he's more than capable. And you're watching this race now under caution, the TA2 race, and it's led at the there. I say youngster. He's in his 30s now, but he's new to Trans Am, relatively so. He has been a Miata champion over the years, but Trans Am, he tried it for the first time last year, did 2 races, got a 4th place at Watkins Glen, and then has opted to come out to Trans Am this year, and is planning, if he can get the sponsorship, to do a full year of Trans Am next year. And he's well worth a punt if you're looking for a driver.
And when you watch that Miata series, that Spec Miata is one of the most competitive series in the world. So I think anybody that can win in that, is going to win in anything. It's a really good training ground.
It's funny, we always say this about you when we're talking about you, that you've raced so many different series. And in the last few weeks, I've watched the Indy 500, I've watched NASCAR, I've watched Le Mans, and you've pretty much done all of those. Which was the most fun? Which was the most challenging? Or they all got something about them?
They all have something. They're all fun. It doesn't matter if you're racing a Spec Miata or the Daytona 500 to me. The actual car, Trans Am, to me is my favorite.
Right.
But circuit-wise, right now the 24 hours of Nürburgring's going on.
Yep.
And there's nothing more challenging than running around that old place with 230 cars for 24 hours.
Oh, there's places where they're doing jumps, aren't they?
3 times a lap, you're airborne. Three times. So winning that race was really special to me, and I'll always remember that. But that's for 15 miles of road, that's probably one of the most daunting places you'd ever go. But then, you go to places like, Bathurst in Australia in V8 Supercar. That was something I'll never forget. Those guys are flat out crazy the way they drive, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been interesting. You've always been a cross-discipline kind of driver, willing to throw yourself at anything. But now with Alonso, now with Earl Bamber coming to NASCAR, and now with Jimmy Johnson going from NASCAR to Indy, it's starting. It's almost becoming a trend, if you like. Drivers realizing that if they can do it contract-wise, they want to do it. They want to race all sorts of things.
Yeah, and you look at Jimmy Johnson, he's famous enough where he could really do anything he wants. Someone's going to put him in. And he's one of the best drivers that ever driven a car. So for him now, I think it's all about his bucket list. I think he's going to do IndyCar. I think you'll see him at Le Mans someday.
And I'm right in saying your father did a Formula One race, or did some Formula One races?
He did, and I didn't know that until I started racing.
Did you not?
No, I did not. My dad left when I was 6.
So who did he race for in Formula One?
Chinetti.
Oh, right,
named
okay.
Chinetti.
Yes, small team. Yeah.
He raced in the first U.S. Grand Prix, I think.
So it's in the blood.
That's funny. He left when I was 6 and never really knew him. But then when I started racing, I knew all about him. And then you're saying, wow, it is in the genes because,
What about Junior here? Has he got what it takes?
Well, he never was into racing. And then 2 years ago, he's always into dirt bikes and surfing and girls. And
well, that's a good combination to start with.
Yeah, but 2 years ago he goes, I want to try go-karting, and now he's got the needle in the arm.
I know it's a sort of urban myth, this whole in the genes thing, but when you see Montoya's kid, when you see Hill's kid, when you see all of these kids coming through, it's amazing. They really do pick it up.
And you can shorten the learning curve. Right now he's go-karting, but I can't teach him anything about go-karting because I don't know anything about it. But we're in the market for a Miata, and next year he's going to start running SCCA, Spec Miata, and I think that's going to be a great learning curve.
Yeah, and I think it's a tough job for any dad because you want to be involved or you want to put your experience across, but you're the worst guy to do it, if you know what I mean. And that's the hardest part, I always think. And I've seen David Coulthard with his son, his father, and I've seen the Hills work together, Damon and Josh.
So yeah, it's a tough one, but anyway, there's another Said coming. And while I said that, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back with more from Trans Am.
The Prefix Performance Division provides experienced engine development and testing for professional race teams and special car enthusiast projects. This important team at Prefix is recognized as a skilled resource for ground-up restorations, high-performance upgrades, and luxury vehicle enhancements. Get your vehicle project started today, or simply check out some of the wild automotive work created at Prefix by visiting www.prefix.com.
Getting out of your to sponsor the Trans Am Race Series. In addition to events, we have proudly provided insurance for race cars, classic cars, and exotic cars since 1989. Heacock Classic is known for its famous agreed-upon value, where brokers and clients find common ground on coverage. So make sure to get your quote today. Follow us at #HeacockDriven.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking at us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do drive it. But all of us in the pits want to know who's the ultimate grand champions.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands: Baldwin, John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman Brand, and on down the list. So come see us, Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
So welcome back to Virginia International Raceway. As you can see from the screen, we are on board with Cameron Lawrence. He's running at the moment in third place. There are 21 laps to go, but as you can see, we are under safety with the Maserati safety car with the lights on and the rest of the field chasing. And the reason that is because JP Southern, one of our youngsters who came up from Formula 4 and Formula 3, has gone into the barriers, and therefore we're repairing the circuit. And while we do that, we have to go under safety because obviously safety is paramount. But the big news is Tyler Cassara, the new man to Trans Am, is leading the way and is leading one of our champions, Rafa Matos, who won't be too happy about that. Rafa yet to have a win this season and looking to try to make something here at VIR and maybe turn around his season for the Silver Hair Racing team. So watch out for second place Rafa Matos. Cameron Lawrence, another one of the youngsters. Good qualifying session yesterday in the wet, which was won actually in the last moment on the 7th lap, the last lap of qualifying, and Mike Skeen took the pole position, the championship leader. But since then, he's dropped backwards, and we're wondering what is the case or why he might have got problems. And I've just sent Ben Sissel down to see if he can find out. Alongside me, though, here in the booth is Boris Said, who was just involved in the previous race. Got a podium in that for Poncho Weaver and the Dodge Challenger. And, yeah, Boris, we were talking about conditions. Just talking about tactics, let me put you in Lawrence or Rafa's position here. Where at VIR and how and when do you prepare for an overtake? Where can you make a reasonable overtake?
Well, I mean, of course, turn one is one of the best places, and then drafting by down the back straightaway. Going up through the S's, it's pretty much impossible unless somebody makes a mistake. But using lap traffic is normally the easiest way.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, that happened certainly a lot in your race because you guys
where you were ahead, but
Right.
Chris Dyson was chasing you and was way too polite with a back marker
Right.
and lost 2 more places.
Right, and then Ernie got me in with lap traffic. I made a mistake, so it's possible. But, going back to like Mike skiing, yesterday qualifying was slippery. It was, it wasn't dry and it wasn't really wet, so it was really tricky conditions. So, obviously now him dropping back, I wouldn't be surprised if he just has a car setup problem. Because he normally is very fast, and he should be a front runner.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's gone back to a Ford Mustang where he was in the Camaro, so that might be another issue for him, is that the car's just not quite as he wants it in terms of the dry situation. But he looked good in the wet yesterday. We can see the whole field filing through. Really strong field, 23 cars. You can't ask for more than that. There's Morris Hull, who runs the Silver Hair team.
And anything less than 20 laps, it's going to be an all-out sprint race.
Totally, yeah.
And a guy like Rafa is going to be a hard guy to bet against, I think.
Yeah. Like you say, I think you said it best. He's an animal behind the wheel. And he's such a pleasant guy. He's a typical Brazilian racing driver, and you've raced them against a few. They are so nice, so sweet, such womanizers out of the car, and then they get in the car, and their Latin blood comes
It's
out.
like a Doberman with a hand grenade in his mouth in the car.
Yeah.
Out of the car, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah. But, I would. A mild-mannered man by day, but he's pretty aggressive, as we saw at Road America last time out. I don't know if you saw the incident at Road America.
I did. Yeah, that was a hamburger helper wreckfest. It was terrible.
Well, that's why we were saying that Scott Lagacy Jr., who's also at the sharp end usually, he was in that car that went up into flames, or he wasn't in it, but Mayer, his teammate, was. And so that might be another reason why he hasn't got his car back to where he wanted it. So that... I know. I'm just looking out the corner of my eye, and the man who was involved in the incident, who is the cause of this incident, has just walked into the commentary booth. Do you want to come and have a chat? JP Southern joins us now, good friend of mine.
Thank you, Boris.
And thank you, Boris Said.
Take care.
So, let's get it from the horse's mouth. JP Southern joins us here in his overalls, dirtied up and rather looking a little bit pale for and worse for wear. JP, first and foremost, are you okay?
I think so. I mean, body feels okay. Deep down inside, I'm not feeling okay. I wish we could have finished that race. We were running strong in the top 6 right there.
What happened?
Hit the pedal, went right to the floor of the brakes. So, not the first time that's happened to me, unfortunately, so I'm kind of used to it by now. But, yeah, I went for quite a ride right there. It's a shame, though. Stevens Miller Crew gave us a really good car, really competitive car. Wish we could have made some ruckus up there in the front, but unfortunately, we had that accident. But, damn well would be right back there tomorrow, so I think we got a spare car, so hopefully they'll let me ride that for tomorrow. And if that's the case, then we'll be starting in the back, but I'm all right with that as long as I get the race. So, yeah. So,
have you had a decent look at the car? How badly is it damaged?
I think it's done. I think we're gonna have to retire it, unfortunately. But had a good run. The Procure IT network pit race car served us well all weekend. And all year, actually, we had a pretty strong finish in Mid-Ohio, and unfortunately, we can't repeat that today, but maybe tomorrow we'll take the next car out for a spin.
Now, American race fans may recognize the name John Paul Southern Jr. because, of course, he was a single-seater driver, and he's one of our big success stories because he chose to jump into Trans Am, still a youngster, and has got a huge future ahead of him. And, of course, I think maybe perhaps inspired by the success of the likes of Ernie Francis Jr., because you kind of look at Trans Am and you don't necessarily think of youngsters making a career out of it. Ernie, one of the few that's done so. But what's the transition like from single-seaters into something like Trans Am?
Transition, for me personally, went pretty smoothly. I got to jump in the Stevens Miller car at Daytona last year, and we ended up with a 6th place finish, so that was pretty nice for us. But yeah, a lot of guys you see in their careers make the transition from Formula cars to closed-wheel cars, and for the most part, everyone says it's a wonderful transition, and they prefer sports car racing, and I'd agree with that as well. It's definitely cheaper, the racing's more fun, and the cars are definitely louder. So for me personally, Trans Am's the place to be for me.
Well, it's a few years back, but of course, Rafa Matos, the man we're looking at right there in second place, was an Indy Lights rookie when he first came over from Brazil, did a stock car race or two back in Brazil before he came over to the States. And yeah, his story has never looked back since he joined our series, and has already been a champion back in 2018 and currently second on the track. How do you like VIR as a track to race?
Oh, it's a beautiful track. This is the first track I ever drove at in a real race car, actually. So I was really looking forward to coming back here and hopefully maybe getting a podium or a win. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen today, but we'll see tomorrow.
I was going to say, we were asking Boris about the tactics here. There's very few places to overtake here. So you're almost trying to hand somebody into a mistake rather than look for an obvious overtake, right?
That's not me. I just kind of send it in and hope for the best.
Good tactics. I like your style. Well, we are still under caution here. 19 laps to go. We're talking to JP Southern, who sadly will not be taking part in the rest of this race, and it sounds like his car's pretty battered up, but he'll, miracle upon miracle, wouldn't be surprised if he gets it back out on track tomorrow. The light's still on the safety car. So what do you think? Are they having to repair the fence? Is that the problem?
Right now, and having to dig my car out of there. It was pretty battered up. It was right over the fence in the tire barrier, so I don't know. It's going to take a while for them to get it out. Not quite sure why they're not under red flag right now. I feel like that'd be a better alternative than to keep the race running. But yeah, car's pretty battered, and fence is also pretty battered.
So JP, while I've got you here, give me some thoughts about youngsters tuning in who may be looking at you going, hey, this could be an option for me. What is your hope with this? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to do anything else? Do you want to go to sports cars and do IMSA, or what do you want to do?
For me personally, I just want to be anywhere where the money is and have a long, successful career in racing, whether that be in open wheel, whether that be in sports cars, dirt, drag, whatever the case may be. But yeah, youngsters tuning in and looking at me, it feels great to be able to be on a stage like Trans Am and showcase my talent and my skills here, and it's great to see the amount of fans and support that I've gotten since the start of the season, and hopefully that only grows from there. But yeah, for aspiring young drivers, karters, whatever the case may be, Trans Am's definitely a place to look at. The racing's great, the competition's great, and the cars are super reliable.
It's interesting you mentioned that. I'm watching the Xfinity Cup, and obviously the likes of Christopher Bell have raced here in Trans Am. Cut their teeth. Jet Nolan's another youngster. We've mentioned Ernie, yourself, JP Southern Jr. And so this is a real catchment place for both youngsters and experienced drivers who want to go heavy muscle car racing. And so it really is worth a look. If you're doing Spec Miatas, just as the man leading at the moment came from Tyler Cassara, or you've done IndyCar like Rafa Matos has done in the past, there is a great way of racing here at an affordable price point. And as JP says, it's good, noisy, muscle car, fast racing. These cars going over 185 miles an hour down the back straight. And sometimes it ends well, sometimes it doesn't. But JP, I'm going to let you go because I'm going to let you relax a little bit. You're still kind of cooling down from what was a big off for you. I'm glad you're okay. Let's hope we get you back tomorrow. Any sponsors you want to plug or thanks you want to give?
Yeah, I want to thank Jim and Kathy from Pit Race for giving me the hospitality at the track this weekend. Chris Martin from Procure IT Network, Cortez Deep Sea Fishing, and Moco Express. They've given me a great car to run the season, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Well, thank you, JP Southern, who won't be taking part in the rest of this race. We hope to see him in action tomorrow, but look out for him on track at the next round and further rounds down the road. The car number 61 in TA2, JP Southern, thepitrace.com, Southern Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro. All right, we get back to waiting for the restart. My thanks to JP, Ben Sissel, doing the business and getting me drivers coming up to the booth. That's fantastic. I mean, can't get any better than that. Now we know the whole story. Great to hear Boris, and great to see how busy he is. But he must have hit that wall pretty hard.
He did, and actually talking to him, I think, like we were seeing, you're going 160 miles an hour. To lose his brakes, he hit the wall, and he ended up upside down, he said. But, it just really speaks to the character of this new generation of Trans Am drivers. Like we were talking about earlier, the Ernie Francis wreck that came up here. He just came out of medical, was just approved to leave medical, and I said, hey, you want to come up? And he's like, sure. And he came up here like totally relaxed, and, he's really disappointed, obviously, but he definitely has his head in the right place, and I expect him to go places in racing.
That's what I'm really loving, is the fact that we got so many youngsters here. This is, because it's the oldest road racing championship in America, you tend to think of Trans Am as being a sort of veterans entry thing. But not the case. Like I mentioned, Jet Noland, I mentioned Christopher Bell.
Connor Mosack. Yeah, we've got all kinds. Justin Haley, who won the Summer Daytona. He was here, podiumed with us at VIR 2 or 3 years ago. He's a regular in the TA2 series. A lot of people. Sheldon Creed. And it's a great place for starting out to kind of really, especially this platform, it's pretty easy to go from anything from the TA2 platform.
And really all those guys you just mentioned have taken part in Trans Am because these cars are so similar to NASCAR's. Okay, we have more aero than they do, but basically it's a tube frame, big muscle car, especially on road courses. Obviously, we only do road courses. We don't do ovals. But the point is they basically get extra time. A good exponent of this is Mike Cope Racing. You can show up and race for Mike Cope. He'll supply a car and mechanics and engineers, and you just bring the sponsorship and go racing. And I think I had a chat with Earl Bamber the other day and Will Davidson, the Australian, who's an IndyCar driver currently in the Cup Series as well. Earl Bamber had his first tryout in Xfinity the other day. Earl Bamber, of course, a world champion Porsche driver in IMSA, currently the IMSA champion, of course, and a Le Mans winner. Twice out, but still in his early in fact he's only 30. And I said to him, hey, you know what, if you're serious about going Xfinity, come and practice with us. And he was like, oh, that's an idea. So it really is something that perhaps people are now joining the dots and realizing that actually this kind of weekend can be a huge learning curve for somebody like that who really wants to take on either Xfinity or NASCAR, or any other form of
and the other thing too is if you don't really have an interest in driving, but you want to be around this, these drivers that you're seeing right now are always looking for sponsors. Every race we've had, we've only been live streaming this season. We've had over 1 million impressions at each race, well over 1 million impressions. And then the great thing is looking at these cars. Like Stevens Miller's really good at it. They're sponsors. They have hospitality areas. You're allowed to come to each race. And you really get to be involved in this, other than some other race series where you just sponsor it and you don't get to be involved. This is a very hands-on. So if you love motorsports and want to be a part of this, the best way is if you can't drive, then come in as a sponsor or a teammate.
Yeah, and as you say, even if you don't want to take part in the actual series or you don't think you're good enough to do that, a lot of the drivers involved in this, their day jobs, if you will, are driver instructors. They are involved in circuits all over the United States, including here at VIR, and so they'll find themselves at a race school, and you'll never know who you're going to bump into in terms of who your instructor is. I'm always surprised to see how many of these guys get jobs doing exactly that. I mentioned Earl Bamber. He's been an integral part of helping several drivers out in the Porsche Carrera Cup, where he came and cut his teeth, and the rest is history, as they say. But there's a lot of history, there's a lot of depth here, and it's great to see. The reason we're chatting away is there is no racing at the moment because we are repairing the track. JP Southern lost his brakes at the start of this race while running in 6th place, turned over the car and turned over several tyre walls, which they're having to repair at the moment. Safety paramount, of course. No crowds involved here at VIR for COVID. But we are here and we are enjoying the fact that we're able to go racing safely here, thanks to John Claggett and to Tony Perella, who've put this event on for the SCCA Pro Series and SBRA and Trans Am, presented by Pirelli. And we are at one of the most iconic circuits in America, and you can see it in all its glory from high above. Virginia International Raceway.
And tell us where you're watching from. Leave some comments on social media. Tell us who you're rooting for, what you want to see. And if there's something you want to see more of or less of, tell us that, because we are trying to adjust this live stream to the fans and make this very interactive for you guys, the viewers. And so tell us what you want to see and what we could do better.
Well, I've already had a text from our gaming folk. They've tuned in to see the real thing, and I'm sure they're delighted to see Tyler Cassara leading the way, because Tyler did a full 8-round series of esports in March, as we all did, me and Ben. Ben missed Spa, he got arrested, but other than that, it was a good series. But we all had a lot of fun doing it. And I'm just delighted for Tyler, because this was really an opportune chance with COVID to get out racing. They've taken it, they've jumped into it, and it's proving.
Here, let's look at this right now. So there's still some trucks there at turn 14. There's still an ambulance there, but we know that JP is okay.
Yeah.
But we did see like at least 4 stacks of tires coming up the hill through the other road course here, the Patriot. And so it's going to take a while. I'm getting a word from race control that it may be 6-7 minutes from now.
Okay. Well, I'm just glad JP. I didn't want to keep him too long in commentary because he looked as though he could do with a lie.
He was a little glazed, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a little glazed. A little
I
pale.
think he definitely got cleared from medical, which is good. But I think it was definitely a scary off to go into the tires at full speed.
I know you wouldn't be so irresponsible as to grab him before he'd seen medical.
Yeah, no.
Well, I know it's been a long wait, but we are going to have a 12-plus lap race sprint of TA2, and it could be the finest race of the year because we certainly have an interesting mix. Tyler Cassara leads the race, Rafa Matos, and this man here, Cameron Lawrence, is due a win. And he very much is in the mix, and he must be thinking in third place that his best chance will be this opening lap as Rafa goes in pursuit of Tyler, and he may be able to get a mix-up with him and go for it. And that I am looking forward to seeing.
So I went down when I saw JP Southern. He's teammates with Mike Skeen. So I talked to Joe Stevens of Stevens Miller Racing, and he said Mike is reporting that he's just down on power. So he doesn't have the horsepower that everybody else does. So, Mike Skeen is really hard to pass no matter how much power he has. But I think Mike Skeen right now would be happy to keep a 6th place.
Well, and that's why I think the likes of Rafa and the likes of Cameron Lawrence, who are mixing it for the championship, Jet Nolan, currently 6th in the championship, Tommy Sheehan in 7th in the championship at the moment, Misha Goikerberg on duty at both Le Mans and IMSA. So he's not here this weekend. So with Skeen down the order a little bit, there's an opportunity, no question about it, for one of the others to start making some points up here at VIR, especially given that this is a doubleheader weekend.
Yeah, and, Thomas Merrill's right there in the mix. He's the 4th car you see there, number 81. He is currently 2nd in points at 98, but Rafa Matos, who's in 2nd right now, is 94.
Yeah, there's only 4 points between those two. So
if it finishes like this, they'd probably go in almost tied.
Yeah, that's really interesting what we've got in terms of points. Scott Borchetta going through shot there. New to TA2 this season, but really enjoying it. He's already had a couple of top 5s and looking for better.
I love this TA2 platform. How pretty are those cars to have the big 3 out here racing, and these huge fields of cars set up nearly the same, just really good driver racing. And I tell you what, if you're in the top 5 or 10 or 15 in TA2, that means you are a very talented driver.
I think that's the other thing, is that people like JP Southern, who was just in here, can really cut their teeth and understand just where they sit when they take on the likes of a Rafa Matos or any of the others at the front end, because they're taking on the very creme de la creme of Trans Am racing, if not stock car racing as well. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot to be said for throwing a hook into having a go here.
So we were talking about the worldwide platform of TA2. Let's just put this out there. We need to organize some kind of a TA2 World Challenge.
Oh, no question. Well, I know there's a bunch of Kiwis and a bunch of Aussies who'd be all over that.
Yeah, that would be really fun to see. So now we're under 15 laps to go as they slowly go around. I'm guessing that we may have 1 or 2 more pace laps to go around, but, it all depends on the wall construction. VIR and the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli will not let the race go green unless we think it's safe.
I mentioned that there was a famous quote that said 1 lap of VIR is like 100 at Watkins Glen. Well, that was Carroll Shelby who said that, so there you go. No surprise.
Yeah, and I think Paul Newman said something like, if there's heaven on earth, it's VIR.
He said,
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, no question about it. Paul Newman was definitely one of those guys that absolutely adored racing here.
The Trans Am Series, raced in the Trans Am Series for many years in all kinds of cars.
Tom Yeager won the first ever race back in 1966 in a Ford Mustang, and the field included the likes of Richard Petty, David Pearson, Curtis Turner, and Wendell Scott. There you go. Like I said earlier, this is America's first ever motorsport resort. There's skeet shooting, there's a hotel, there's a lodge, there's a bar, there's everything you want. There's these lodges you see in the top left there. You can stay in those. You can park your car and get going. It's good stuff. Paul Newman raced here, and he said, if there is a heaven on earth, it's VIR. That's the quote.
You had mentioned Wendell Scott.
Is that Jet Nolan?
Yes, it is.
It is.
No.
Jet Nolan.
Jet Nolan currently 6th in points. He gets back out there. You had mentioned Wendell Scott.
Yeah.
And this is a neat story because he raced in Trans Am in 1966, but he is from Danville, the first major African-American man to race in NASCAR. And I cannot believe that he raced in NASCAR during the Jim Crow era in the Deep South, in the Dixie circuits, and just an unbelievable race car driver. But it's really cool history. We're really close. I'm actually staying in Danville at a hotel. You know, it's only about a 20-minute drive from here.
Well,
so for him to race here in the Trans Am Series in 1966, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and of course, stock car racing and Trans Am. You talk about Afro-Americans racing. Willie T, of course, from Texas.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my heroes. I love Willie T. Ribs.
Had a fantastic Trans Am career, and we just heard the news. It's somewhat opportune that Michael Jordan will be taking part in NASCAR.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, I guess.
With Bubba Wallace.
And partners with Denny Hamlin, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
It's pretty cool. Uh-oh. That's Scott Lagasse Jr.
Oh, no. That's bad news.
Lagasse Jr.
Yeah. Currently 4th in the championship, and clearly he was down in 12th position, and things not going well.
It's hard for these cars to do so many laps at such a low speed. They start to overheat. They have some power steering issues. You know, these cars are comfortable between 120 and 160, but not really at 35.
If I were Rafa or Merrill or any of them, I'd be getting pretty nervous right now, pretty itchy, because these cars, like you say, they don't like to be run slow.
Yep. Well, when they showed the shot of the crane, the implements up there at turn 14, it looks like they were
We're under caution here. If you've just joined us, this is not how we race. We race a lot faster and a lot louder than this. We're looking at Tyler Cassara and that beautifully painted number 4, new to Trans Am, but making a name for himself without a doubt. And in fact, Racer Magazine did a Q&A with him recently, so if you want to check that out, definitely go to the Racer website, and you can see a really good interview with Tyler Cassara explaining his career, explaining how he got a chance to do this, explaining what he does in his real job as a corporation, and a really interesting and affable guy, and I wish him well because it's a real family affair. I got a free hot dog from him the other day, so I have to give him a plug.
Yeah, and I love when the Trans Am Series is whatever you want it to be. So there are the guys with the huge haulers and the big tents and things like that. But then there's Tyler Cassara, who's running up in first. Total privateer, the definition of privateer, with a pop-up tent and a short trailer pulled behind a pickup truck, and they're out there in first place. So in this platform is so cost efficient. The point of entry is so low. It is a really great series and platform to run in. If you're looking to run in race cars, there's no cooler platform than TA2.
Yeah, and then you've got Boris, who won't take a penny off you. He just wants to go racing if you've got a good setup and a good race car, and that's what Poncho gives him, and that's how that combination works.
That's a heat shield on maybe an injector. Is that what they're doing? Putting
Looks
a new
like it, yeah.
injector in, so maybe they're getting some vapor lock. I'm not sure what's happening, but obviously he's down a cylinder or something, and they're trying to fix that. Because Scott Lagasse is in the points hunt, so he needs to get points, you need to finish half of the laps, and then he's just going to go out there and try to get as many points as he can. 13 laps to go.
Yep, and I think we're going to have a probably 10-lap sprint at this case. We're just keeping an eye on where those trucks are that we're rebuilding. God, what a scary thing for JP Southern to get all the way down to the end of that straight and then hit that tire wall. You can see still a lot of work going on there.
I bet he's glad he's not in an open-wheel car in that, though.
I now realize, now I look at that, just how scary that must have been.
Yeah, that's full speed. Like, if you're coming into that, that's where we were seeing the TA cars at their top speed, and then you reach down to hit your brakes, and there's nothing there, and there's nothing for you to do but just go straight into those safety tire walls there, and I'm really glad that VIR has designed the track that way, because Cameron Lawrence, same thing happened to him 2 years ago, and it was a bad off and a really bad shut, but Cameron walked away from it.
There's Edward Savajian, the number 38 from Dallas, Texas, the Big Machine Vodka Duntov Motors. And Duntov, another one with huge history in racing here in the United States.
Yeah, I think they're named after Mr. Duntov, the Corvette, designer and racer and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's their thing, isn't it? Preparing Corvettes for racing.
Yeah, I've known Edward for now about 10 years. He's a great Corvette vintage racer. And, we started doing these vintage races with Trans Am, and he just kept looking and thought, that's what I want to do. And he's doing really, really well. He's always one of our top drivers in vintage, and he's still racing vintage. He was actually Willie T's partner when they won the V-Rock Championship last year. And he's having a ball with the Big Machine Vodka, Big Machine hand sanitizer team with Scott Borchetta.
Yeah, and Big Machine have been very prevalent in NASCAR. They sponsored a race at Indy. Of course, they sponsor one of the NASCARs anyway on a regular basis. And, been heavily involved in motorsport. It's good to see. Big Machine Records, of course, is where that name comes from. And they've split off and also done a vodka and sanitizer brand as well. So we've been using that in the COVID, that's for sure. Weather much better than it was here in Virginia, just on the border of North Carolina. A great setting for a motor race. And we've had two very long races in this doubleheader. We race it all again tomorrow. But tomorrow, and just talk a little bit about that, tomorrow we throw everyone in there. And is that a problem, or is it going to be fun?
As a spectator, it's going to be amazing. As a person that works with the series, I'm not sure. It depends on which hat I'm wearing. I cannot wait to see it, but I'm going to be seeing it with squinted eyes like I can't believe this is happening, because the great thing about VIR is
explain why you say that.
It's a large circuit. So we're combining all of the Trans Am classes into one race to do a double header because Watkins Glen was canceled due to COVID. So they're going to all go out for a 70-minute race, TA, TA2, XGT, SGT, and GT on the track. And I haven't seen a full field like that on the track together since 35. Now we're close to 50.
Well, I can understand how a GT car, basically a production car souped up, compared to a TA2 car, would not be at all competitive. But how does TA and TA2 go?
Well, they're not too far away except on the straightaways, but in the uphill S's, I think the TA2 cars may have an advantage. The TA cars will out-drag you cars, will outbrake you. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a TA2 car coming in the lead at Hogpen, getting passed by a TA car down the front straight, and then getting passed again in turn one.
Well, the laps continue to tick down here, and we're just as itchy to get racing as you are. And if we're all itching to go racing, you can imagine what it must be like inside a very hot cockpit of a Trans Am car now. You tune in around the world to our live feed and on board live with Cameron Lawrence with the V-Box technology brought to you by Greenlight Television. Fantastic live pictures of both from the drone, from the onboards, and of course around the track. We are delighted to bring you this live stream. It's definitely the future, no question about it now. I'm totally convinced and sold. This has been a real revelation for me to be involved in motor racing as long as I have, but to get this close to the action up live and really get a sense of what it takes to drive these cars, and the two shots that we get here from the V-Box really does give you an idea of how the driver's working and where he's working. So you really see the confines of the office of a racing car here.
And the neat thing about this series, especially when we watch this, we see Cameron Lawrence's hands down there in the bottom left, and when they go green, this is a 100-mile race, but it is a 100-mile sprint race. You watch his hands, you watch his feet and his eyes. He is driving on the edge for 100 miles. There is no get in the rhythm and relax a little bit time in a TA2 race. They're on the bitter edge the whole time.
And you can see he just tightened his belts there a few moments ago, and you can see now he's weaving from side to side just to keep the temperature in the tires.
I think they're getting word that the implements are starting to come down the hill, and if we don't go green this time, I think we might next time.
Well, I was saying it earlier in the day that they work so hard in these caution periods that they're weaving from side to side, they're braking, they're starting. It's not the flow that they're expecting. And so physically, as you can see what he's doing now, this takes a lot of work to do physically. Now, his safety car could be coming in now, and that would mean we would have effectively just over 14 minutes. We'll keep an eye on the lights just as the drivers are. We're on board with Cameron Lawrence. He can see what we can see, and he'll be keeping a very close eye on that safety car. He'll have heard from the pits. That's why he tightened his belts down the back straight. But his restart will be imperative. If he's going to make the podium, he knows he's going to have to dive and dash straight into Horseshoe and take third position. Everybody piling up now behind Tyler Cassara. This is an important time for Tyler too. First time he's had to do this in a Trans Am car. This is not Miata Spec Racing. This is the real deal. The lights are off as we come down roller coaster, and I think that's what we're going to be in for. A roller coaster ride here at Virginia International Raceway as the Maserati leads them down, and we'll peel off in a moment, leading it to the 32-year-old Tyler Cassara from Manheim, Pennsylvania, to lead us through the restart of this race with unlucky or lucky 13 minutes to go. Tyler holds them. Rafa looking for his opportunity. Lawrence starts to accelerate. Merrill is there. Tyler finally gets away, and away he goes. Rafa got away well. Mike Skeen still struggling in the midfield. Out goes the 92. And that was Scott Lagasse Jr. He does get out, but it is Tyler Cassara who leads. Here comes Rafa Matos round the outside, and what he'll try to do is keep his foot in, just as Tyler Cassara did to make the lead earlier on. But he can't quite do it, and Tyler Cassara is off and running in the number 4.
Tyler's car looks really good. He is really hooked up. He loves this track. Goes to the edge. And he's looking great. Cameron Lawrence is looking really fast too, but I've been really impressed with Connor Mosack there in 5th place.
Yep, so everybody away on the restart, including Scott Lagasse Jr. Really delighted to see him out. He's still catching up at the moment as we go on board with Cameron Lawrence. Now, he said he had to pounce early. Now can he do it on this lap? Under the bridge he comes.
Okay, so watch this, Jonathan. They're about to get real light. Right there.
Right there. You can see the car just lifting almost. Yeah, we were talking to Boris Said about that, and he said, yeah, it gets pretty hairy out there when that happens. Now, into 10 they come, and it's Tyler Cassara, leads from Rafa Matos. Lawrence is 3rd, Merrill behind him.
And Mike Skeen is keeping up with the group right now.
Yep.
So watch Mike Skeen. We got to report that his power is down, but right now he's keeping up, and he's in 6th place.
Well, he needs the points for sure. There we go. Watch the hands and watch the left. Once again. On this lap, he's got time to do that on the straight itself. And there's only 11 minutes left in this race, so somebody has got to try something. And look at Rafa Matos all over Cassara under immense pressure as they come through roller coaster. But Cassara, cool, calm, and collected against one of the most aggressive drivers, the Brazilian Rafa Matos. Takes no prisoners. If anything, Thomas Merrill losing a little bit of ground there in the 81. Mosack behind him in the 96. Into Horseshoe they go, and there's nothing between the top 3. And this has been a good restart. The concentration level's still there at this time. I was surprised not to see an odd mistake or two. But as it is, everybody's safely through, and the clock ticking down.
Tyler Cassara is just putting the car exactly where he wants to put it. He's got this track on lock, and obviously I saw him yesterday doing some setup changes, and I think he's got it right.
And we can see with Lawrence, he's looking for a way past Matos. Under the bridge they come. Fantastic drone shots here. You can see how close Lawrence's is. Through the light section, up the hill they go, past the lodges, and down towards Oak Tree. But there's no way past, and Lawrence knows it. He needs to set himself up for the long back straight, and that's coming up after this next corner. Now you've got to get good drive out of here, get on the gas early, get through the gearbox, get nice and smoothly, and then hit it. Here he is, Still in first gear. I think that's not quite right because he's over 128 miles an hour. And it's going to go bang if it's still in first gear, but you can see them all spreading out now down that long back straight down towards roller coaster. Just over 9 minutes to go, and the field's starting to spread out now as we expected. Top three glued together, and Matos is like a dog with a bone right now. He will not let Cassara out of his sight, and Cassara knows he's got the pressure, but he's had probably half an hour to think about this restart. That might have played into his hands a little bit. Calm him down, not get too excited, work out what you're going to do in your head. Down to Horseshoe again. Rafa Matos yet to win this season, but still in the hunt. He's third in the championship at the moment. Cassara, believe it or not, 23rd in the championship. Big moment there. Made a mistake at the exit of Indy. Excuse me. NASCAR. It's all the same.
The other series.
The other one.
Look at this.
I had a 50-50 chance.
They kiss the curbs left and right. So many turns here. So off balance. Watch them. They're going to take this left, and then they're going to do a right-handed turn off balance.
Yep.
Get really light right there, land and compress. And then this is a scary turn right here. This turn 10.
Yeah.
And
well, that was the second time he's gone through NASCAR slightly wide, has Tyler Cassara. So he's pushing it to the very limit, but he's on the limit, that's for sure. And Merrill now has glued them all four together. Fifth place, Connor Mosack losing ground on the top four, but we've got a really, really good dogfight here for the close of this race.
We do, and I'm so impressed with Tyler Cassara, knowing that he's got two-time champion Cameron Lawrence and then 2018 TA2 champion Rafa Matos right in his mirrors. Tommy
Sheehan, 100, not out, but he is, unfortunately. He won't be able to raise the bat in the Mustang tonight because, sadly, Tommy Sheehan, who had been running in 7th place, is out of the running. Let's hope that doesn't bring out another safety car because we don't need another one. They come across the line again. Lawrence getting closer to Matos now as they head towards Horseshoe. Cassara's given himself some breathing space. He's got about 2.5 car lengths now to Rafa Matos, who was much closer in the previous laps. On board with Lawrence now. Cassara still going wide at NASCAR, but it gathers it all together.
Yep.
You can see the gap of 0.169, but you don't need to be told that because you can see it for yourself as we go on board with Cameron Lawrence as he bounces over the curves at Snake.
Yeah, they really use the curves. You're trying to make this wiggly section, the S's, as straight as you can, but this is the scary part right here. Over that. And you can really see with these in-cars, it's great to see where Cameron Lawrence is a little bit better than Rafa and where Rafa's a little bit better than Cameron.
To turn 11 now, coming up to Oak Tree, getting that drive coming out of here. Time running out though, just a couple of laps left in terms of the clock anyway. And Lawrence now winding himself up with flames breathing out of the side of that all-yellow Peterson prepared three-dimensional services group car in 3rd position. Merrill losing ground as we go back on board with Cameron Lawrence. Just can't get quite close enough to Rafa to make a move, and it's a dicey move anyway coming at the top of roller coaster. So we talk about using the straight to get up the inside, but really there's not really a proper overtaking.
Yeah, and you can really see how equally yoked all of these cars are.
Oh, more trouble.
Alex Wright at turn 11.
Alex Wright gets it wrong.
So I can't see from the camera. Is that a local yellow or a double yellow?
There he is.
He's trying to restart it.
Well, hopefully that's not smoke coming out of the engine.
Looks like it's coming out of the exhaust there.
Well, he's getting out fairly swiftly anyway.
Though, yeah, he's trying to get out and running. There is a corner worker he did just acknowledge. Corner worker sees it. As we see Cassara come through NASCAR. Look at that.
Yeah, it's
2, 3, 4 are real tight.
Yeah, and the top 4 now pulling away from the rest of the field. So it's Cassara, Matos, Lawrence, and Merrill. That's who we're looking at. On board again with Lawrence as he chases down Matos. Time running out, though. Just 4 minutes on the clock, and you can see he's itching to get past Matos, trying to force the Brazilian into a mistake. Mosak still in 5th place. Then Skeen in 6th, the championship leader. Doug Peterson now up to 7th with the retreat and retirement of the 2 drivers we just saw. Edward Savagin now up to 8th position now. Savagin up to 8th. Procek into 9th position. And Barry Bowes, also another Texan, in 10th position.
This is quite a battle from 1st to 4th right here.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, Cameron Lawrence right here, he's just trying his best to get into that draft of Rafa, but Rafa's just able to drag him just a little bit. Seems like Rafa might have just a little bit more power here because the draft should be bringing him up to it. And then Cameron somehow can get on the brakes a little bit better, maybe has a little bit better balance.
Yeah, look how close he is here as they top a roller coaster. He's right there with him again, but like you say, in a straight line, the silver hair is doing just that. But I tell you what, checking out though, at the front is Tyler Cassara. While that's all been going on, the gap has gone up to 1.3 seconds. And Tyler Cassara, I don't want to give him commentator's curse, but he's in a very, very good position now to take victory here. It'll be his first in Trans Am. Meanwhile, Matos has got enough on his hands with both Merrill and Lawrence right there with him.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think Matos has given up on Cassara, and now a victory to him is keeping Cameron Lawrence and Thomas Merrill behind him.
Well, to a certain extent it would be, because he's the highest up in the championship with Skeen not there and Scott Lagasse Jr. not now. Here comes Merrill.
I tell you what, I'm sure that Jeff Hawley and the Silver Hair Racing crew are down there reminding Rafa of that. They're reminding him, keep in mind the points, keep Cameron behind you. Don't worry about the guy in front of you.
Well, if you remember, Rafa was leading at Road America, and they took it a lap back and denied him a victory there. He was very, very miffed, and understandably so, because he did everything right, coming right from the back to the front.
He's on the brakes. Something's wrong.
Something's wrong?
It looks like something's coming out. Maybe tire or something. I couldn't tell. Something was coming off of the track. Maybe that was from Alex Wright's car.
Well, we'll
something
find
came
out.
off there at 10. Maybe is his left rear down? I don't know.
Well,
Don't quote me on that.
Well, we'll soon find out, because we're coming down now to a 2.
No, he's fine. He's going
fast.
All
right. Okay, but Tyler Cassara is pulling away now. And we're going to have one more lap to go pretty much after this. 1 minute and 56 seconds as we go back on board with Cameron Lawrence. What a finish we've got here in TA2. We had to wait with a lot of racing under caution and a lot of time spent pondering this race. But Tyler Cassara has outthought everybody in this one. And as he heads down towards Hog Pen again, he's got them all in a pen, because none of these 3 can do anything about the pace of Tyler Cassara at the moment. Matos holding on. The white flag waves. One more lap to go for Tyler Cassara. And what a moment this would be if he could pull it off.
Look at that. I mean, I think, honestly, it's between 2, 3. Oh, here we go. Cameron looked to the outside there. Now he's ducking into the inside.
So Cameron knows it's his last chance hotel, and he's pushing hard on Rafa Matos. And this is just playing into the hands of Tyler Cassara for sure.
And Thomas Merrill, possibly.
Yeah, Merrill could take both of them.
Look at how close. He's never been this close to Rafa going up here. You know that he's trying to get in Rafa's head. But see, look, Rafa's just pulling away from him just a little bit, and that shouldn't be the case. Cameron should be able to get behind him in his draft.
It's the final lap then. Time running out. Cameron Lawrence, if he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it at the... It's going to be desperate, but he's going to have to try something. Merrill looks as though he's more likely to. Merrill looking up the inside of Lawrence, can't quite pull it off. You can see how out of shape and how forceful they want to be with the cars. They're almost pushing the cars around sideways now. Lawrence gets drive, but Merrill got better drive. Down the back straight, he's got the slipstream.
Look for Merrill to make a pass here.
Merrill's been in this situation before, and it came to nothing. And it came and ended up in tears, but he's going for it again. That's how brave he is. And through goes Merrill at exactly the same place as he got in trouble last year, but he has to back off as Lawrence holds the line. Great driving from the youngster Cameron Lawrence. But time running out, it's dropped to naught, and Tyler Cassara on his way to a famous victory. Down the roller coaster they come, and it looks as though Rafa will hold on, but no one is going to stop Tyler Cassara from Manheim, Pennsylvania, who takes the checkered flag for the Ford Mustang Carbotech Brakes entry. And as you can imagine, Team Cassara are delighted. And if you're looking for an entry for next year, and you're looking to back a car, well, look no further than the number 4 of Tyler Cassara. What a way to win. A first-time winner in Trans Am, a happy dad, and a happy uncle, and a happy best mate. Well done to Team Cassara. Coming across the line in second place, Rafa Matos did hold off Cameron Lawrence and Thomas Merrill. And Connor Mosak in 5th place. Mike Skeen, our championship leader, saved his blushes with a 6th place, but that's not where he wants to be by any means. And Doug Peterson comes across the line in 7th place. Edward Savajan in 8th. Keith Prochuk in 9th position. And Jet Nolan rounds out the top 10. Wow, what a dramatic race. In so many ways, too. A brand new winner to Trans Am, and a worthy winner, I may add. He did not get rattled by a half hour of waiting and thinking and holding back. And that's got to be the hardest thing in motor racing, especially against a rival like Rafa Matos. And I think even Rafa Matos will be the first to congratulate him. He comes alongside him now. But he remembers his early days of racing at this level. And I think he'd be pretty impressed with that. So, well done. And in a moment, Ben has just left the commentary booth. He'll be down at the podium, and I'm sure we'll get some interviews for us. But that was a cracking race, and that had everything in it. Now, in terms of the championship, that's helped Rafa no end. No question about it. Because, like Ben was saying, I think they were probably on the radio to Rafa saying, look, let's just finish this race, because it didn't happen at Road America. They were awarded 3rd place when they came across the line first, but the race was taken a lap back. And so with Merrill finishing 4th and Skeen finishing 6th, that's helped Rafa's cause, and that moves him up the board. Should put him ahead of Merrill in the title fight. And there you get a great view of the podium. Unique view of the podium. In comes Lawrence. I love the way we park the cars right in front of the podium. No part firm, eh? Let's get them in there. What a moment, what a day for Cassara Motorsports. A family affair, and Tyler Cassara, runner-up in the E-Championship back in March, and was really just kind of dreaming about the opportunity to race in Trans Am for real. And now his dreams have all come true. This is a big moment for this young man. And I have to say, he put on a great display of racing. He's new to Trans Am, and as you can see, the team are already there to greet him.
Hey, that has got to feel really good.
I think there might be a smile.
Hold on, wait till she's on. But I might be going to him.
So let's head down to Ben Sissel and hear from the man of the moment, Tyler Cassara.
Cassara takes the victory here at Victory Lane. Knowing your story, that has got to feel so good.
Yeah, I can't say enough thanks to my dad for all his support. You know, coming out of Road America was really tough. We spent so much time working on the car to get it back together, and just pretty much pulled out all the stops. You know, got Samson race engines under the hood now, and you know, powered me to this victory. And huge thanks to Carbotech Brakes for all their support, you know, all along my entire career, and you know, how racing as well, and Trans Am for you know, sticking it out through this really tough time and giving us a platform to race on.
Nice, and we were bragging on you in there about how privateer your team is, and there's your dad and your crew chief. I saw all the adjustments you were making yesterday, but year, nice job, man. Talk about making this a family affair.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, literally my crew chief is my dad. I got my best friend here, Dan. My grandfather's over there. My uncle Pete is over here. Literally, it is a family run. Like, we don't have big support or anything like that, but you know, we would love to go do next year, and you know, we need a little bit of help for that. But I think at least today, I think we proved that we belong here and that we're capable of winning. And I'm just so happy. I'm really speechless.
I'd say more than that. You kept two-time TA2 champion behind you. Nice job, Tyler. Rafa Matos. So I know you wanted the win, but man, coming into like 3 or 4 laps left, you had to be more concerned about Cameron and Thomas behind you.
Well, not really. I was trying my very best, trying to catch Tyler, but today was a day to finish second or third. You know, I was barely hanging on, you know, keeping Cameron behind me, but the car seemed to be better after the restart, but you just didn't have the straight line speed to follow the Fords. But happy with the second place. Good day for points, so we keep digging tomorrow. Yeah, also a big thanks to our sponsors, Waukegan Farms, Maxima, Prefix, everyone that has been supporting our program this year. It's been a great year. Hopefully we'll win soon. Thank you.
Rafa Matos right there in second. Now we're coming to two-time TA2 champion Cameron Lawrence. He had the camera in his car. We were watching you every step. You were just going your best trying to get to Rafa.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we had him a couple times. It's just it's a tough track to pass on, and all the cars, obviously, the top 4 were pretty close. So, you know, Tyler did a great job pulling away at the end there, drove a perfect race. But, yeah, a couple times I really wanted to make the move, but just thought better of it. So going to have to talk with the guys and the officials and see where the line is for things like that. But overall, yeah, it was a great race for us to get back on the podium and just run a good, clean, long race. So hope we get more green flag running tomorrow, and be really interesting mixing it up with all the classes again. I'm probably one of the few drivers that was here when we used to do that. So looking forward to seeing what we can pull out of our hat tomorrow.
Last lap coming into turn 14, Thomas Merrill gets beside you. You have some history in turn 14. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, look, this car's been awesome, so that hasn't really popped in my mind. Obviously, I feel bad for whoever ended up in the tire wall there. I know that feeling. Luckily, I think he backed it in. It was probably better than going the way I went, head on or side on. So, yeah, our car was really strong. I knew, you know, the forward motors had power on us. We're still running the Prefix Choice, which did awesome all weekend so far. But yeah, it's really tough when you're just losing time down the straightaway. So luckily, the car's really good on the brakes, locked up a little bit. But on the last lap, I don't really care about tires. So happy to hold on for it for these three-dimensional guys. They did an awesome job all weekend. So, yeah, ready to go one more time tomorrow.
Cameron Lawrence, third place, a hard-fought third place. Well, that does it for us today, Saturday, in TA2 at Virginia International Raceway. But we'll be back at it again in a full mixed group, TA2, TA, XGT, SGT, and GT at Virginia International Raceway. So stay tuned.
Good work, Ben, as ever, as we look down on the proceedings just in front of the podium, and a great celebration for Tyler Cassara and his team. Like he says, beating a former champion and a 2-time champion. Not a bad way to go. Here's the results then. Tyler Cassara with his first win for the Carbo Tech Brakes Ford Mustang. Well done to him. Rafa Matos in the Silver Hair Racing Chevrolet Camaro finishes second, but more importantly gets good points for his championship chase. Cameron Lawrence, Three-Dimensional Services Group Ford Mustang in third. Thomas Merrill fourth. Connor Mosak in his first race for the championship in fifth place. Mike Skeen, our championship leader, in sixth place. Doug Peterson seventh. Edward Savagian in eighth position. Keith Prochuk in ninth. And Jet Nolan rounding out the top 10 in his MCR Ford Mustang. Further down, Scott Borchetta, another good result for the man from Nashville, Tennessee, in the Big Machine Vodka Chevrolet Camaro. Kurt Volk coming out of SVRA and coming into TA2 for a run, as Jim Gallagher takes 13th place ahead of Morris Hull, the leader of the Silver Hair race team. Barry Bowes, Bob Lima, John Cloud, Alex Wright did not finish, nor did Tom Sheehan in his 100th race, and nor did Scott Lagacy, although he did get out. So that rounds out our day for today. We've had plenty of great racing. We have another big race tomorrow, which involves all of our Trans Am series in one big race. Doesn't get any more fun than that. From me, Jonathan Green, from all the crew here, thank you very much for tuning in on our live feed. We'll be back tomorrow. Once again, thanks to Ben Sissel. We'll see you again this time tomorrow.
Getting the most out of your Classic can mean many things. That's why Heacock Classic Insurance is excited to sponsor the Trans Am Race Series. In addition to events, we have proudly provided insurance for race cars, classic cars, and exotic cars since 1989. Heacock Classic is known for its famous agreed-upon value, where brokers and clients find common ground on coverage. So make sure to get your quote today. Follow us at #HeacockDriven.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do drive it. Champions.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, but we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands, Baldwin, Billy Reed, Goodman brand, and on down the list. So come see us, Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
When the automotive industry needs new ideas, concept vehicles, and prototype designs, they rely on Michigan-based Prefix Corporation. The Prefix Performance Division provides experienced engine development and testing for professional race teams and special car enthusiast projects. This important team at Prefix is recognized as a skilled resource for ground-up restorations, high-performance upgrades, and luxury vehicle enhancements. Get your vehicle project started today, or simply check out some of the wild automotive work created at Prefix by visiting www.prefix.com.
Getting the most out of your Classic can mean many things. That's why Heacock Classic Insurance is excited to sponsor the Trans Am Race Series. In addition to events, we have proudly provided insurance for race cars, classic cars, and exotic cars since 1989. Heacock Classic is known for its famous agreed-upon value, where brokers and clients find common ground on coverage. So make sure to get your quote today. Follow us at #HeacockDriven.
Hey race fans, it's the start of a brand new decade, so don't be on the outside looking in. Straddle the technology fence with us and be part of all the action at every round of the 2020 season. With our all-new app, you'll now have live global streaming of all the action from the heart of each and every track. Live scoring, race highlights, replays, results and team and driver news. Everything you could ever want to be informed of the world of Trans Am and SVRA. Download now on Apple and Android, the only place to get your muscle car media.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we do drive it. But all of us in the pits want to know who's the ultimate grand champions.
As you can tell, I like to go fast. Our race team is really well prepared. We like to look good, But we also like to dress good, and that's why we shop at Franklin Road Apparel. I own the company, and I wear the clothes that we sell in that store. So check us out. We carry all the top brands: Baldwin, John Barbados, Billy Reed, Goodman Brand, and on down the list. So come see us, Franklin Road Apparel, Franklin, Tennessee.
When the automotive industry needs new ideas, concept vehicles, and prototype designs, they rely on Michigan-based Prefix Corporation. The Prefix Performance Division provides experienced engine development and testing for professional race teams and special car enthusiast projects. This important team at Prefix is recognized as a skilled resource for ground-up restorations, high-performance upgrades, and luxury vehicle enhancements. Get your vehicle project started today, or simply check out some of the wild automotive work created at Prefix by visiting www.prefix.com.